We'll talk more on those points in a moment. Before we do the intros, though, I do want to remind you, you're watching the TING Open. TING is a, whoops, what mini-map, please. TING is a mobile phone service for the United States only. They're putting all together the prize pool for this tournament. It's the first time ZombieRub and I are really, not the first time at this point, but it's like the first time we've been paid a decent amount for casting a thing. Like, they are so awesome, and they're helping us out in a huge way just by making this tournament exist. So again, I forgot to skip over it earlier, or I skipped over it earlier, excuse me. There will be some in-stream ads coming at you, but it will only be between best of threes. We're not going to be obliterating your brains with ads today. We will be playing them responsibly. Just be aware of that ahead of time. But if you want to learn more about Ting, go to bttv.ting.com. You'll get $25 in credit. You'll get to try a month for free, essentially, if you do it right. And it lets them know that you came from us. So make sure to check Ting out. Top left side of the map, though, an amazing game one out of him is going to be the red Terran player, aLive.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, he is Trap.
By the way, you know a game is really good when we're not going like super ADD 10 minutes in talking about nothing.
Well, you know, after all those Dust Towers games we've been seeing recently.
Yeah, well this is kind of cool. A small detail, but does block out the probe from scouting with a quick depot and a cancel. He actually would prefer the mining at this point, which is hilarious, but very important because it just kept the probe out of the base. For Trap, there's got to be question marks raised. It's a map where you take an easy gold. Are there two gases? What does he expect?
It feels almost useless, because you see the SCV going down to build the command center anyways. It would have been a really cool fake from aLive if he actually was going for one base. What?
This will screw with the second gas. It's not exactly a gas
so
steal,
good.
but you know what the other thing about this that makes it cool is? When that Reaper comes in, the probes aren't going to be able to run around as easily. They're going to get stuck on the engineering bay.
That is so good. And you have a surplus of minerals in Legacy of the Void, not a surplus of gas. And for us to still want to be teching up. So that is pretty cool. This
is like, it so barely screws with the gas, but he has to put 4 probes on gas. Just for some context here. Like, this is the timing, knowing the Adept was coming out. This is so funny to see. I don't actually know if this is worth it or not, but it's cool nonetheless. Like, cool points for sure. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah. Yeah, so Fly Depot that kept the probe out also made sure the Reaper was going to get over here in time. So just a bunch of cool little things to add everything up, I suppose. Now, he knows the probe left. I don't think he killed it, and that's why he's looking around. I mean, also the 2 gases. I don't know if he, really knew how fast they're being taken, just how fast the second one was taken. So looking around with the Reaper is definitely worth it, as you honestly aren't going to really get like too much damage done if an Adept is already out in the Mothership Core, even with the Engineering Bay block that he did. So that is their best use right now, and then you will suicide it in later.
This was a very different way to open this game. So we talked about this a little bit recently. I'm going to bring it up again. Obviously, the gold mineral patches at the natural base are a bit weird to see, but they split them up too. And we discussed this a little bit in recent casts with hypotheticals and what ifs. And let's say what if aLive went for like a Widowmine drop as the opener. You put the Widowmine here, you're not going to have that cluster of like 8 probes right here. Your maximum probe kill count is going to be like 6 on either side. So it really got me thinking, like, I wonder how different Harass would be for players if mineral patches were placed very differently, you know? Like, what if the mineral patches played part of the Sim City in the front of the wall type thing? Or I don't know. Like, I'm not saying these are good ideas, but it got me thinking about how different layout of bases could be, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this Reaper got
scouts.
lucky scouts.
Sees the Robo, sees the Twilight. I mean, it's question marks.
Sees the Stalkers. So if he was going to be resonating glaives, he might have 1 Stalker, but not 3. And you wouldn't be so keen to warp in a 3rd one, too. I mean, that's like, if he's like really paying attention, but I think he'll know that it's Blink over Resonating Glaze. You also have been seeing just the resurgence of Blink Stalker all-in / pressure, I guess. Now, with so many gateways, I'm kind of feeling the term all-in here, but, I mean, with Legacy of the Void, it's always like, you eventually get that surplus of minerals set on a 3rd base, especially when your natural is a gold, so I'm not sure how much Trap's going to commit to this.
So we did talk about Widowmine drops. They're just not going to the location I thought they were. Quick shout outs to Rick13311. Thank you for subscribing.
That is a pretty instant overcharge. Jesus.
But 2 of them burned as well. This is actually a fairly large deal. Of course, we've been so used to watching Legacy of the Void for the last 3 months where you can just spam overcharges. Only 25 energy, who gives a fuck? Now it's 50, it's very important, and can sometimes be instrumental to defending versus dying.
Yeah.
aLive doesn't have a big follow-up push, so it's not problematic right now, but...
Well, it actually might be problematic for aLive to have pushed out with these Marines if they were actually caught by the Stalkers. Blink is finishing up now, but he does need a bunker. Nice scan on that Observer. It is a Blink Stalker all in, so you want that high ground vision somehow.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this a little bit too. Terran's got better production than ever in Legacy of the Void thanks to all those minerals, but it doesn't make it a lot easier to defend against Blink Stalkers. Oh, that medevac was going to be very important to have.
Yeah, he has 2 more on the way. So 2 more, 2 Marauders. Stim not going to be done, but Stim and Comet History might time out here with the +1. So if Trap does this incorrectly, he could blink on top of an army he thinks is not as powerful as it is, basically.
Yeah.
As the upgrades finish and just like, snap.
Okay, so the Stalker army is going to come and try and bust that bunker. Blinks up here immediately. This gives him the signal.
Oh, yeah.
The sentries, though, not expecting those. The Observer gets picked off, however. If you can pick off that War Prism, there's no more high ground vision, but there's a lot more to this than just the War Prism.
Combat Shields. +1 is all not done.
Oh,
like,
seconds. He's like literally 1 or 2 seconds. +1 just kicks in as well. The SUV's getting pulled. He's got he's got a decent amount of bio left over. Those medevacs are still standing, so this isn't over yet, but this is terrible. This is the worst situation for someone like aLive to be in.
Yeah, that was... if
he loses the command center, that might just be game, though.
Yeah, probably.
This is that's a fuck you, leave the game type thing.
Yeah, definitely. It is quite bad. I mean, Trap is also going to start mining out, I guess, eventually. And you would be like, if I kept him off the 3rd base, maybe I could bring this back. But that would have to deal with... You have to deal with the Stalkers first, I don't even think you can deal with the Stalkers.
Yeah, the top of the Grampier was working out well, but of course you can always blink up there if you really wanted to get super aggressive with it. That Liberator was actually evening up the income. The second Trap went back to mining on that gold, though, started coming back in money hardcore. Marauders trying to use their range best they can. There's that blink, and that's going to be game. GG. Hoof It, by the way, thank you for the 17-month resub. I know that for some reason the overlay shows you as a new sub, but we appreciate all 17 of those months, sir.